The verdict's in for the Letecia Stauch trial, accused of murdering her stepson, 11-year-old Gannon. Let's dive into it. All right, everyone. So the jury has been deliberating since Friday. Closing arguments were made on Friday, and the jury deliberated a little bit on Friday, a little bit this morning in Colorado, and now the verdict is about to be read. So here's a little recap.
In other news now, after a month of arguments and testimony, the fate of Letecia Stauch now rests in the hands of a jury. She stands accused of the murder of 11-year-old stepson Gannon and then driving his body across the country to dump it.
Prosecutors and the defense painted two very different pictures of Letecia Stauch, one of them as a heartless killer and the other as someone who is legally insane when she killed Gannon. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow has been covering the closing arguments and the trial for us. Matt.
Kim, the jury got the case around 1 o'clock this afternoon after about 3 hours of closing arguments. It's been a closely watched story for more than 3 years now, and it may soon be reaching its conclusion.
Can this defendant distinguish right from wrong? The evidence and her actions tell you that she can.
Calculating, manipulative, hateful, and violent, but not insane. That's how prosecutors described Letecia Stauch during closing arguments of Stauch's murder trial.
If you lose your temper, you don't get to claim insanity.
On January 27, 2020, Stauch shot, stabbed, and killed her 11-year-old stepson Gannon in their home in Colorado Springs. She then put his body in a suitcase, drove to Florida, and tossed it over a bridge. The suitcase was found a few weeks later with Gannon's body still inside.
Because there are people who are truly legally insane, ladies and gentlemen. They don't act like that.
Prosecutors say Stauch killed Gannon in part to hurt her husband, whom she was planning to leave. They also said she hated Gannon because she knew that Gannon would never love her as much as he loved his actual mother.
Mental illness from her past got triggered, and there's a temporary period of psychosis.
Stauch's attorney, however, told the jury a much different story, a much more simple story as well. He said Letecia Stauch was legally insane when she brutally attacked and killed Gannon, and therefore should be found not guilty by reason of insanity.
This was not premeditated murder. This is a psychotic break. That is the only thing that makes sense. There is no other rational explanation to understand why this happened other than that.
If Letecia Stauch is convicted of first-degree murder, she would face life in prison without the possibility of parole. We'll let you know just as soon as the jury reaches a verdict. Kim.
All right. Thank you, Matt. We know those jurors have been really patient listening to all of this and such difficult testimony and details about this case. Thank you.
Okay, so while we wait, there was a couple of things here. I found another article. It says that Letecia has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The state mental hospital concluded that Stauch was sane at the time Gannon was killed. But the defense's main witness, Dr. Dorothy Lewis, says the woman suffers from dissociative identity disorder and was not sane at the time. Stauch was arrested in Myrtle Beach in March 2020 and extradited to Colorado.
Camera button over here this time. They're not on yet. Okay. All right. Court will call 20 CR 1358 People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury is not present in the courtroom. I've been advised that the jury has reached verdicts in this case. Before I bring the jury in, I want to remind everybody of a couple of things. First of all, if you have a phone out, put it away, unless you are in this front row. In addition, I know that this is an emotional case. I get that. I understand that, really, I do. But this jury has worked hard. So regardless of whether you agree with or don't agree with their verdict, you need to exercise appropriate decorum. So let's not have any emotional outbursts or anything like that. And I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and bring the jury in. Now that I have you doing something else. Okay. They all seem to be on. Doesn't matter to me. I see it. So long as it's broadcasting, I just wanted to make sure that was not the issue. All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. May all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358 People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I see that juror number 5, that would be you, has all the instructions and things like that. That's usually a tip off to me that you might be the foreperson. Are you in fact the foreperson? And has the jury reached verdicts in this case? All right, if you would hand the instructions and the verdict forms to Mr. Sproul, please. Thank you. All right, the verdict forms do appear to be in proper order. I will have a question for you because there's some extra writing on here, but I think I understand what's going on. So with respect to count number 1, charge of murder in the first degree after deliberation, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. With respect to count number 2, charge of murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. With respect to count number 3, charge of tampering with a deceased human body, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. With respect to count number 4, charge of tampering with physical evidence, we, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence. I wanted to ask the jury, or actually the foreperson, there is some extra writing on here with respect to question number 1. There's a cross through and some initials. And then on part B, there's also a cross through with initials. Was that signifying that you were not answering that and you intended to answer guilty as to that charge? All right. And is that what you intended with all of the other verdict forms? All right. With that, does either side wish to have the jury poll prosecution? Yes, Your Honor. All right, what this means is that this is a process that is sometimes requested by the attorneys following a verdict to make sure that everybody has agreed on all parts of it. So I'll go down the row, starting in the back. Juror number 1, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 2, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 3, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 4, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 5, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 6, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 7, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 8, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 9, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 10, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 11, is this and are these your verdicts? Juror number 12, is this and are these your verdicts? I want to thank all of you for your service. Jurors don't get a lot of training. However, you all were selected because you were willing to be open-minded and impartial, and were willing to make decisions based on the facts and the law. You, the jury, heard and saw the evidence. You paid attention all day, every day. Someone else may tell you they disagree with or they disagree with your verdict or some aspect of your service. They may want to express their opinion on the matter. However, we didn't ask them for any of their opinions. We asked you for your judgment. We asked you for your verdict based on the law and based on the evidence. Someone else may tell you they think they're better and smarter and more intuitive than all of you were. Ignore them. As a judge, rarely does a day go by that I don't make somebody in the courtroom mad. The fact that some people may disagree with your verdict or the law only means that those who disagree with you were not carefully selected to be fair and impartial. They did not take an oath to follow the law and to judge all of the facts, and they see it differently from you because they didn't see it all from the perspective you did. And they did not discuss the facts with 11 others who were also fair and impartial and sworn to follow the law. You decided this case. This verdict is your verdict. And this is the verdict in the case. No poll, no approval or disapproval, and no press analysis changes that fact. This is the verdict in the case. The press or someone else at some point may wish to talk to you. We live in a world of exceptional voyeurism in reality TV, and this is about as real as it gets. They may try to dissect the evidence, your thought process, and your decision. It's a free country. Anyone can ask you anything about your verdict. You can answer if you choose. They can also, however, respect your privacy and allow you to contact them only if you want to talk to them. And if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to anyone about your verdict. If you do talk with someone, you can tell them as little or as much as you like. Someone may even ask you to give an affidavit regarding some aspect of your jury service. You're free to give an affidavit. You're free to decline to give an affidavit. That is a personal decision you are entitled to make. If anyone continues to talk to you after you have told them you do not want to speak about the matter or becomes critical of you or your jury service, please report that incident to me. Again, I want to thank you very much for your service. Without honest people of our community serving on jurors, we cannot secure the right to a jury trial in this country. And it's a very valuable and a very important right. I want to leave you with some language from a case that was decided by the United States Supreme Court in Louisiana versus Duncan. In that case, an individual was denied the right to a jury by trial, or a trial by jury, sorry. And that case went all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court sent it back to the state of Louisiana. And it said, you need to give this man what the Constitution requires, which is a trial by jury. And when it sent the case back to Louisiana, it said, "We believe that trial by jury is fundamental to the American scheme of justice. Trial by jury is more than an instrument of justice and more than one wheel of the Constitution. It is the lamp that shows that freedom lives. Without your dedication and sacrifice, that lamp would not shine as brightly as it does. So I truly thank you for your service. You are now discharged with the thanks of the court. And for the last time, all rise for the jury, please." Thank you. You may all be seated. Don't know how you want to proceed on sentencing. I do need to talk to the jury for a few minutes because I need to tell them some things about security issues, counseling issues, and things like that. So I do need to talk with them for a few minutes. I also didn't know if the family, the prosecution, anybody wanted to have some time to process the verdicts. I also understand that everybody's been here for 5 weeks, so I get that part too. So I'm open to whatever you want to do with respect to sentencing, but I probably am going to need at least a half an hour with the jury.
I think that would be appropriate, Judge. The people are obviously ready to go to immediate sentencing. I believe the defenses as well.
Okay.
And I can tell you that the family's been thinking about this day for over 3 years. They're ready to go to sentencing as well.
Okay, then give me about 30 minutes and we will come back and proceed to sentencing at that point in time.
All right.
Okay, so Letecia Stauch has been found guilty of murdering Gannon Stauch, who is her stepson. There was also additional charges. Yes, so she has been found guilty. And so the sentencing will have to do with prison time, serving time, not having to do with mental institution if she had been found insane. So sentencing will happen today, miraculously, instead of doing it tomorrow. So today. So we'll wrap this part and I'll come back for sentencing. And if you learned something today, if you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate if you hit the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think of the verdict. I'm a new growing channel, so I'd really appreciate if you like my style of covering true crime, that you subscribe to my channel. And we're very victim focused, really want to give a voice to the voiceless. And if you like that style of true crime, appreciate if you join the empowering community. And with that, stay safe, stay thriving, and have an empowering day. Bye for now.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.